Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadhari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadhari Yashoyanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balava Girivanadhari Gopijana Balava Girivanadhari Yashoyanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Astutada Shishi Mad ISKCON Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Gaudi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Prem Shri Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Syama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Yamuna Mai Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulsi Maharani Ki, Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Reading from Bhagavad Gita. We'll do the invocation first. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Brijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Visakan Vitam Sha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. So on this auspicious day of Lord Nityananda Trayodashi, we'll speak a little on the verse and then we'll reflect on some of the wonderful pastimes and glories of Lord Nityananda. So 8:11, am I correct? Yeah. Yad akṣaram veda-vido vadanti viśanti yatayo vīta-rāgāḥ yad icchanto brahma-caryam caranti tate padam saṅgraheṇa pravakṣye yad akṣaram veda-vido vadanti viśanti yad yatayo vīta-rāgāḥ yad icchanto brahma-caryam caranti tate padam saṅgraheṇa pravakṣye yad akṣaram veda-vido vadanti viśanti yad yatayo vīta-rāgāḥ yad icchanto brahma-caryam caranti tate padam saṅgraheṇa pravakṣye. akṣaram veda-vido vadanti viśanti yatayo vīta-rāgāḥ icchanto brahma-caryaṁ caranti padam saṅgraheṇa pravakṣye veda-vido vadanti viśanti yatayo vīta-rāgāḥ icchanto brahma-caryam caranti padam saṅgraheṇa pravakṣye. Anyone else? Akṣaram veda-vido vadanti viśanti yatayo vīta-rāgāḥ caryam caranti padam saṅgraheṇa pravakṣye. That which. Akṣaram, syllable oṁ. Veda-vidaḥ, persons conversant with the Vedas. Vadanti, say. Viśanti, enter. In which. Yatayaḥ, great sages. Vīta-rāgāḥ, in the renounced order of life. That which. Icchantaḥ, desiring. Brahma-caryam, celibacy. Caranti, practice. Tat, that. Te, unto you. Padam, situation. Saṅgraheṇa, in summary. Pravakṣye, I shall explain. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter oṁ-kāra, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. Please repeat. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter oṁ-kāra, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Lord Sri Krishna has recommended to Arjuna the practice of Sat Chakra Yoga, in which one places the air of life between the eyebrows. Taking it for granted that Arjuna might not know how to practice Sat Chakra Yoga, the Lord explains the process in the following verses. The Lord says that Brahman, although one without a second, has various manifestations and features. Especially for the impersonalists, the akṣara or oṁ-kāra, the syllable oṁ, is identical with Brahman. Krishna here explains the impersonal Brahman into which the renounced order of sages enter. In the Vedic system of knowledge, students from the very beginning are taught to vibrate Om and learn of the ultimate impersonal Brahman by living with the spiritual master in complete celibacy. In this way, they realize two of Brahman's features. This practice is very essential for the student's advancement in spiritual life. But at the moment, such brahmachari, unmarried celibate life, is not at all possible. The social construction of the world has changed so much that there is no possibility of one's practicing celibacy from the beginning of student life. Throughout the world, there are many institutions for different departments of knowledge, but there is no recognized institution where students can be educated in the brahmachari principles. Unless one practices celibacy, advancement in spiritual life is very difficult. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has announced, according to the scriptural injunctions for this age of Kali, that in this age, no process of realizing the Supreme is possible except the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oṁ-kāra gena shalakaya chakshur unmilitam gena tasmai shri gurave namaha. So Krishna is so kind that he's also explaining to Arjuna this process of Advaitism, or the Brahman effulgence of the Lord. Although Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very much condemned this pursuit of Advaitist philosophy. Mayavad shunile basya shune. He said that this Mayavad philosophy is pakandi, is promoted by pakandis or non-believers. It's a form of atheism to say that I am God, you're God, we're all God, and we can merge into the effulgence of Krishna. Lord Krishna states very clearly in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, which is the best path of self-realization? Is it engaging in devotional service to you, remembering you, manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam naraskaru, mama vaishasi satyam te pratijani, or is it worship of this effulgence? And Krishna says, maya vesha manoye mam niti yukta upasate, shradavan parayopetas teme yuktatamo mataha. That the highest yuktatamo mataha, the highest concept of self-realization explained by Veda-vidaḥ, the author of the Vedas, is the personal understanding of sambandha, abhideya, sambandha, and prayojana, that the soul has an eternal relationship and is a person and has an eternal relationship with the Supreme Person. Therefore, we know that Veda-vidaḥ states, vadanti tat-tadva vedas yajganam tat-vamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdiyate. So, throughout the Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam especially, in the 10th canto, it's described by Veda-vidaḥ. Sukadeva Goswami describes it also to Parikar Maharaj. Yene ravindaksha vimukti maninas, that they simply want liberation for themselves. Tui ashtavavat avishuddha buddhaya. Avishuddha buddhaya. Their brain, their intelligence is contaminated by the last snare of Maya. This is the last snare of Maya. That I want to be God. Ahankara, the ahankar is so powerful. So, okay, I can't enjoy this material world. So I reject the material world as illusion, not just part of Krishna's creation, but it's illusion. I reject it. It's illusion. Now I'm going to become God. Aruna krichena param padam tata patanti adro nadrita yushmadangraya. That unless you develop your prema for the lotus feet of the Lord has feet. Prabhupada used to say, he has feet. Listen to the verse, he has feet. And the great sages, Kapila Deva explains in the 3rd canto how the great sages, they meditate on the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu within the heart, the yogis. They meditate on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet within their hearts, on his form. And this meditation acts as a thunderbolt which breaks the mountain of sin which is there within the mind and heart of the aspiring transcendentalists. So although Krishna is giving this concession here, he's giving concessions throughout the Gita and saying, Bahunam Janmanim Ante Gyanavam Mam Prapajante Vasudevasa. After many, many births of pursuing the absolute truth, Manushyanam Sahasrishu Kaschid Yatati Sidaye Yatitam Api Sidanam Kaschid Mam Veti Tatvaraha. That so many people are looking for the truth. And they go to yoga studios in the West, so many yoga studios, and they're trying to attain nirvana some quick way. But in that verse, Aru Krishna Param Padam Tata Patanti Ado Nadrita Yushmarang, they fall again and again into material desires. The material energy, Maya, is so powerful. She is so powerful. Who can independently try to go beyond this practice, this heavy material, Daiviyesha Gunamaya Mama Maya Durat? It's very difficult. This is Krishna's Maya Shakti. She's very powerful. We see so many yogis like Surabh Muni. He was meditating under the water for such a long time in the Yamuna River. And somehow he offended Garuda. Garuda was chasing Kaliya. And Garuda used to come and he ate the king of fish in the Yamuna River. So Surabh Muni was very, very angry at Garuda, and he offended Garuda, who was a great devotee of the Lord. As a result, he fell down into household life and had 100,000 wives. So Krishna Bhagavad Gita also says, Klesho dikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. Klesha. That this path of trying to practice austerities and penances and study of Vedanta and rejecting, all kinds of activities, that klesho dikatara, klesho, full of misery, full of struggle. Klesho dikataras avyakta sakta chetasam. They're trying to attain the avyakta, the unmanifest aspect of Krishna. Avyakta hi gatir dukam. The goal is full of misery. Dehavadi for the embodied living being, for the embodied spirit soul. So as a spirit soul, Krishna says, Mamai vamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Manasastan indriyani prakriti karshati. That these are all my eternal parts and parcels, all the spirit souls. Koti, 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 yasya prabhu prabhavato jagananda koti. Within the entire universe, beyond the Vaikuntha planets, is the effulgence of the Lord. And within the effulgence of the Lord, there's so many material universes. Prabhupada says, just like in the ocean, little bubbles are coming up. He says, in the Atlantic Ocean, so many little bubbles are coming up all the time. So from Mahavishnu, Karanadaksha Vishnu, so many little planet universes are manifesting constantly. And we're all this is contained within Krishna's Brahman effulgence. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti, koti shu ashesha vashadari vibhuti binam. Tad brahma nishkalam ananta bhutam, govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita is explaining the whole breakdown of all the aspects of Krishna's creation, spiritual and material. And in this verse, he's describing how within this halo of the Brahman, so many planets are floating So many planets are, universes are coming. And each universe has a Lord Brahma. And our Lord Brahma, by human calculation, Prabhu says, he lives for 311 trillion, 83 billion years. Prabhupada explains this in the eighth chapter, actually. And that is one Brahma in one tiny little capsule universe. And how can we even try to independently attain self-realization? So this is discouraged by Krishna eventually. He says eventually those who worship the Brahman effulgence of God and who want to merge within the effulgence of God, eventually they come to him. In the following verses, we'll see that these Advaitas, they eventually come to Krishna. In his Sharirakya Bhasya, Shankaracharya, who appeared before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also promoted this impersonalist philosophy. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, appeared and introduced, as well as Madhavacharya and Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu. They all introduced this dualism. But before that, Sankaracharya, to drive the Shunyavadis out of India, Lord Buddha came and preached Shunyavad. He introduced the idea of the soul. But he didn't touch the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is considered to be the face of the Lord, the smiling face of Krishna. That Krishna, he is the most infinitely beautiful person. And we understand his powerful nature, yad yad vibhuti mat shadvam shrimad urvitam evacha tatad vyavagachatam mamotejam sambhava. He tells Arjuna that all this wonderful planets you see within my body, the Virat Rupa, is just a tiny little spark of my splendor, right? In the 11th chapter. So ultimately, Shankaracharya avoided this Srimad Bhagavat Purana, which focuses on the transcendental form, pastimes, and activities, the spiritual nature of Lord Krishna, and his relationships with his various devotees, Santaras, Dasiras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhuryaras. That in the spiritual world, the Lord is constantly having these wonderful, very, very tasteful rasavarjam rasopiyasya. There's so much ras, so much sweet taste in the holy name of the Lord, in the transcendental activities of the Lord. Chetasa sarva karmani mayi sanyasvamat. Krishna is telling Arjuna, why don't you think of me? Put your mind on me. Right? He's telling him throughout the Bhagavad Gita to remember the transcendental activities of the Lord. Here in Vrindavan, it's a replica of the spiritual Goloka Vrindavan, where the Lord is having wonderful pastimes as a human being. Although he says, Ajopi san aviyatma bhutanam ishvaropi san. He says, I'm unborn, and I never die, and I'm the Lord of all living beings. And all this prakriti comes from me. It's just it is my inferior energy. Avajananti mammudha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajan. He says the foolish impersonalists are like mudhas, and they think I've somehow acquired this human-like form. Krishna's form, he resembles a dark blue monsoon cloud. All the great sages throughout the universe are aspiring to have some transcendental activities with Lord Krishna. The Vedas personified prayed to Lord Vishnu, may I please take birth in Vrindavan, in Dwapara Yuga, and dance with Krishna as his beloved gopis. And also the sages of Dandakaranya, they also, when they saw Lord Ram, they're saying, can we come in Dwapara Yuga and participate in your transcendental activities, we want to taste this Madhurya Lila, this beautiful Madhurya Lila, this ecstatic emotional exchange with the Supreme Lord as a kishore, as a youthful boy, having wonderful pastimes in the forest of Vrindavan with the milkmaids, with the gopis. So these gopis are not ordinary. Some of them, it's said, were daughters of even the Nagas in the lower planets. Some of them came. Krishna arranged for so many different types of personalities. Some of the daughters of demigods came. And they're all engaged in these wonderful transcendental activities of the Lord. And it's not, 108 gopis or 108,000 gopis. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the Radharani, one time she was going in her chariot because Krishna had run off with a gopi, a young gopi called Viraja. And so Radharani got in her chariot and she was accompanied by 600 million of her friends. So everything in the spiritual world, in the spiritual contact is very, very beyond our achincha rupa, inconceivable. So this is the transcendental instruction of the Lord here. In the 11th chapter, he says, Naham Veda na tapasa na danene na chejaya. They're just performing tapasya or brahma-caryaṁ. That's not enough. Or giving worship to me. Nam ham tapasa na danena na cheja, giving in charity or doing worship. He says, Bhaktistu ananyaya shakya ahamevam vidorjuna gatum jastum chetatvena jusavam praveshtum cha parantapa. He says that you can only know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Maharaj Nanda, the killer of the Keshi demon, the lifter of Govardhan. You can only know me this way by ananyaya bhakti. Bhakti without any subtle or gross desire. We come to Krishna consciousness and sure, we give up the gross material desires to follow the 4 rules of Dharma, chant the 16 rounds, but there's still so many other subtle desires we may have, like desire for fame or wealth or followers, right? Pratishta. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada quotes that the Rupa Goswami was instructed by Lord Chaitanya that it's more difficult to purify our hearts of desire for name and fame. Pratishta, puja, desire for followers, na dhanam, na janam. It's more difficult, these subtle desires within the material mind. But Krishna is telling Arjuna, Bhaktistu ananyaya shakya, ahamevam vidorjuna, gyatum jastum chatatvena. It only can enter into the mystery of Krishna's transcendental activities. Like this Vrindavan, all Krishna's pastimes are going on right now, going on eternally. Somewhere, Krishna is climbing Govardhan Hill. Somewhere, Krishna is in the Yamuna River with the gopis. Somewhere, he's playing with the cowherd boys in the forest of Vrindavan. Somewhere, Mother Yashoda is getting Krishna dressed to go out. These are all very transcendental activities that are going on. But we have to attain pramanjana churita bhakti vilochanena sada sadeva hridayoshi vilokayanti yam shamasundaram achintya guna swarupam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So we're so fortunate that we're in this disciplic succession, Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, which is giving us the highest knowledge, the highest understanding, and prakshaksha vagamam, the highest experience, which is prema, pure love of God, without any tinge of Aishvarya. Rupa and Sanatan Goswami were living under a tree every day, and they were saying, Hey Radhe Rajadevi Ke Chalalite, Hey Nanda Suno Kuto. Where is the son of Mar? Where is Radha? Where is Lalita? Where? They were completely in trance. In fact, they were so evolved spiritually in prema that it says Raghunath Das only slept an hour and a half every night. And he simply ate a couple drops of butter every day, sometimes not. And chanting constantly the holy names of the Lord every day. Sanatana Goswami, he was simply walking around Vrindavan. Every day he would do parikrama around the Brajmandal, to the point where that Lord Balaram came and he condensed it so that Sanatana Goswami would quickly walk around. So Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami, yeah, I mentioned. Yeah, these 6 Goswamis, they came with Lord Chaitanya to enrich the pastimes of the Lord. This is God himself. Lord Chaitanya is God himself, right? Krishna Varnam Tvisha, Krishna Sangopangasha. It says by Veda-vidas, he's coming at the end of, in Kali Yuga, the beginning of Kali Yuga. And he's giving this mercy because Kalir Dosha Nidhi Rajan, like this in Kali Yuga, no one's actually, even here in India, people are becoming more and more contaminated. They're so influenced by Kali Yuga. Everyone is Nunam Pramata Kurute Vikarma Yad Indriya Prita. Indriya Bhog, they simply want some Indriya Bhog. And some material, they're imitating the West completely. Every time I come to India, I've been coming here since 1977. I was here for Prabhupada's disappearance. I see India just becoming more and more materialistic, so much more. When we first came here, this was a little village. All like you could walk Raman Reti, walk over to the Yamuna River, and you could see clearly to the bottom of the Yamuna River, just sandy sand. Now you go to Yamuna, Mother Yamuna, it's just like, whoa, terrible. So a little disappointing that this holy dham. However, Gauranga Mahaprabhu has clearly said that for 10,000 years, Pitiviti Achayata Nagaradigram, Sarvacha Prachara Hoibe, Moranam, that every place, just like now the Hare Krishna movement, is practically in every major city in the world. Many Rath Yatras every year all over the world are going on, every nook and cranny. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu is trying to uplift and save the conditioned souls who have no idea. Nate vidusva artagatimi vishnum. They have no, and they're following foolish leaders, so-called yogis and swamis and incarnations of God. They come to America and they say, yeah, yadama tadapa, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. It's no problem. Just, you can become God. Give me some money. But Prabhupada said to some news reporters, he said, I have come to give. People come here, yogis and swamis, they come here to take. But I have come to give. And he said, when he was in England, he said, you took over India, colonized India, and you stole all the jewels. But you forgot the real jewel. The real jewel is this bhakti yoga that is being given to us, beginning with sadhana bhakti, and gradually Vedi bhakti or sadhana Vedi bhakti, and then gradually coming to the stage of Raganuga Bhakti, which is spontaneous devotion to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and Radha. So this is a gift the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. One time Brahmananda asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what do you mean by causeless mercy? What is that causeless mercy? And Prabhupada took his walking stick and he's poking him in the stomach. He's saying, this is causeless mercy. Take it. Take it. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu is deriving so many tricks. Take Krishna. Take the holy name. We distribute prasadam. We tell people in the West, this Bhagavad Gita is about yoga. Oh, yoga. Oh, very interesting. they want God, but they don't want to surrender. So we say yoga, like this. In so many ways, Lord Chaitanya derived many ways of distributing Krishna consciousness, the holy name of the Lord, to all these. Even in Nadia, they were drowning those who were fit or unfit. They were drowning them in this ocean, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of the nectar of devotion. And he empowered Rupa Goswami to write all these books. He empowered Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, the Sandarbhas. He empowered them. It says, Tene Brahma Hridaya. Krishna's Kaviraj says, that just as Krishna, from within the heart, empowered Lord Brahma to understand all the Vedic knowledge and speak Brahma Samhita. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu entered the body of Rupa Goswami, and all his devotees, Ramananda Roy, Swarup Damodar, all the special Vakashvara Pandit, all these close associates of Lord Chaitanya. Oh, you have blessed Rupa, you have empowered Rupa Goswami to write these beautiful, beautiful, confidential aspects and how to become a devotee. Sanatana Goswami was also instructed what it means, bhakti yoga. Achintya beda beda tattvam. I'm God, I'm not God. Simultaneously one and different. Prabhupada was giving a class in a lecture in a university in Portland. That was the first time I saw Prabhupada, just 1972. And all these people were into yoga, so Prabhupada was speaking, what is yoga? He said, Arjuna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, Chanchalahi mana Krishna pramati balabhat. He says, the mind is too chanchal. I cannot do this yoga system. Yoyam yogas tvaya proktam shamyana madhusudanaha. He says, this yoga is too hard for me. This is Arjuna. You have no idea how powerful Arjuna is. How powerful is he? He destroyed millions and millions of warriors. He had so much power. He went to the heavenly planets and served Lord Indra. Not an ordinary person like we are today, Kali Yuga guys. He said, I can't do this. So probably some fellow put his hand up, the young student. He says, Swamiji, I am God. And Swami Prabhupada actually, one time in San Francisco, also in the early days, some fellow came and he said, Swamiji, I am God. And Prabhupada said, Jai, please accept my humble obeisances. Now you can go. Take prasadam and go. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous to think you're God. Prakriti kriyamani gune karmani sarvasha hankara vimudatma. You're bewildered by this prakriti, this tribir gunamaya bhavir visarvamidam jagat mohitam nabijanati mamebhya paramabhya. Krishna said, you're bewildered by the three modes. Sattva, Raja, Tama. You're bewildered. What are you talking about? So Lord Chaitanya is just saying, Kalua nastyeva, 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 gatir anyata. Harinam, harinam. This is in Adi Leela. I believe it's Adi Leela chapter 14, where it's described Lord Chaitanya is saying that in Kali Yuga, you can't do karma kanda, you can't do jnana kanda, and you can't try this yoga stuff. It's not possible. Therefore he says, Nasti eva, Nasti eva, Nasti. 3 times I reject it all. He says, only bhakti, only the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Kali kalera namarupa Krishna avatar, namahoite hoy, sarva jagat nishtar. Kritaya dhyayato Vishnu. In Satya Yuga, simply for thousands of years, Dhruva Maharaj was meditating on Vishnu, and then Vishnu appeared within his heart and appeared before him. And Tretayam, how does it go? Yajato Makai. So in Treta Yuga, by performing big yagyas and so on, fire yagya and all this stuff, then you get self-realization. And Dwaparam Paricharyayam. In Dwapara Yuga, temple worship of the deity and Vishnu, Lakshmi, Vishnu, and so on. Kalyaya Dari Kirtanad. In Kali Yuga, simply chanting the holy name of the Lord, you get the same result or more than all these other paths of self-realization in Treta Yuga, Satya Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga. Simply chant. So simple. Prabhupada says, simply chant the holy name of the Lord. Mana prasadat somyadvam. Keep your mind peaceful. Somyadvam. Don't be duplicitous. I've been like looking at devotees and they come to the movement, but behind the scene they're going, I want to take sannyas. I want to be GBC. I want to be the big boy, the big man. No. Somyadvam. Don't be duplicitous. Simply, whatever, be transparent. Or else how will you get the mercy of Lord Nityananda? Nitai pada kamalayor, koti chandra shushitala. He's very merciful, but we cannot, Prabhupada said, don't be duplicitous. Don't pretend or have some, divisive ambition in the society of devotees. I want to be better than you. I want to be in a higher position. I want adoration. I want distinction. No. How can you get Trinada Pisa Nityana? Torore Vasi. Feel oneself lower in the straw on the street. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed this. Feel yourself like a piece of dirt under the grass. Lower than the straw, piece of dirt under the straw, like this. Then perhaps you can get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Hino vino nite bhai Radha Krishna poitinai. If you want to understand or enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, described by all the great acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Prabhupada Sarj, all these literatures are available nowadays. If you want to actually understand this loving pastimes in the spiritual world of Lord Krishna, which will destroy all your material desires. All your material desires. If you want to come to that platform, then you have to be chanting the holy name offenselessly in a very humble state of mind. The example is given that Ramachandra Puri, he was the godbrother of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master, Ishvara Puri. And he was a Mayavadi. So sometimes we're devotees, but internally we're a little influenced by impersonalism. I'm this, I'm that, and we are contaminated. So Ramachandra Puri actually would feed the Vaishnavas, and then he criticized, I see that Gauranga Mahaprabhu's associates, they're all busy overeating and they're sannyasis. What is this? And then he invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house, arranged prasadam, and he kept giving more and more to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and at the end he said, I see, you're also, you're not renounced at all, you're false renunciate. Chastise God himself. As a result, when Madhavendra Puri was on the final hours of his life, he was saying, Lord Krishna, when will I attain the Lord of Mathura? This is the mood of Radharani, feeling separation, the highest taste, separation from Krishna. When Krishna was taken by Akrura to Mathura, the gopis were in such, so overwhelmed by anxiety that they didn't want to live. And Madhavendra Puri was in this mood of Mahabhav. And Ramachandra Puri came and said, why are you lamenting? Don't you know? Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma na sochati na kankshati. Samasarvi. He said, why are you lamenting? Aren't you on the Brahma Buddha platform? This lamentation, this hankering for Krishna is totally spiritual emotions. There are spiritual emotions in the realm of devotional service. And Madhavendra Puri was the highest on the highest level of prema bhakti. And he's being criticized by his disciple. He said, my God, if I see you at the time of my death, get out of my sight, he says. I'll never attain the lotus feet of Krishna. And he threw him out, kicked him out. So like that, we have to be careful about the impersonalism within our hearts, contamination within our hearts. It manifests in different ways. Matsarya, envy, envy, jealousy, criticism of others, kutinati, fault finding, all these different little weeds in the heart. Bhaktisiddhanta writes a whole commentary on all the weeds within the heart. Although we're watering the bhakti lata, sometimes we forget we're watering the weeds around the bhakti lata, kutinati, jiva hinsa, offending others, offending not just devotees but others, fault finding, desire for some recognition and so on. So all these are little contaminations within our heart, and therefore to attain the stage of raganuga bhakti we will be disqualified. So we have to always practice mind control, beat the mind with shoes, and beat the mind with a broomstick. So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah, a new class now. This is called a grinder class. So, well, we'll finish there because